What's going on, everybody? We're here. We're live again, back for a second podcast. I only did 3 podcasts for about a month and a half, but the main event has brought me out of podtirement. I'm putting away the out-of-lineness, and I'm getting more in line. Joining me today, again on the podcast, another World Series of Poker main event final tableist. But this guy happened to be the chip lead, 122 big blinds. He is in the best position to win $8 million. And I don't know about you guys out there, but that's a lot of fucking money to me. So we're joined by the man, Scott Blumstein. What's up, Scott? What's up, Thanks for, I know it's kind of been busy out here. I appreciate you kind of coming in here, taking a little bit of time out the day. I know you guys are going to go do some preparation and kind of get ready for the main event, man. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great. Yeah. It's all happening so fast. You know, it just feels like I'm living in a dream, and just hoping that these next 24 hours, I put myself in a good spot to come out and play good tomorrow. Yeah, man. I mean, it's like you already locked up, what, $1 million for 9th place, something like that? I guess so. Yeah,
not even thinking about it. Well, you're the main event chip leader. You don't really got to think about it, right?
I just know how many chips I have. You know, that's like kind of been my focus. I didn't really look at the payoffs too much. I know it's cliche, but you know, when you do that, that's when you can kind of
get in your head a little bit.
Right. Yeah, you can stop playing poker and just like worry about the money. But
you start folding 10s to big river bets then.
Right.
Something could happen.
Exactly.
Man. Why don't you tell people a little bit about you out there? Because I think a lot of people out there, unless they play on the East Coast, they might not know much about you. Give the people a little bit, like a little backstory of you.
Yeah. So I'm just a 25-year-old kid from originally from Morristown, New Jersey. Been hanging out down in like the Atlantic City area for the last couple of years, and I just have always loved poker, and I just, always knew that I wanted to play poker. I didn't want to have a real job, and that's what drove me to poker, which I feel like most people, that's what gets them in the game.
Yeah, for sure.
And here I am. Just, I a couple years ago, I just kind of realized that it was going to take a little bit more work to get to where I wanted to be, and I started putting in the work, and it somehow paid off.
Somehow that's paid off here. Yeah. You mentioned that this was the only World Series of Poker event you decided to play this year, right?
Yeah, I this summer I was just actually made the conscious decision to stay home and try to work on my health a little bit, and I knew where I was getting to where I wanted to be poker-wise, but there were some other things in my life I wanted to take care of. So I stayed home. I was playing on NJ and online and just kind of grinding MTTs and trying to get better, and with the goal in mind the whole summer to come out and play this exact tournament. So that's kind of where my head was out, and I did it. I came out and registered, and here we are.
You didn't miss registration, huh?
I almost did.
See, people don't believe it's possible.
My boys actually left me stranded back at Harrah's, and
good for the best.
I know it, and I remember sitting along with my boy Jay, and I was like, all right, do you want to go first, or should I go first? Like, who's going to get the winning ticket?
Really?
And, he was like, all right, you go first. So I went up to the cashier, and I got my ticket and took my seat and started playing some poker.
That's crazy, man. Isn't it kind of wild? Like these, everyone's kind of has these little steps. Like if you feel like if I didn't do that, then I might not be here. And it's all these little crazy small moments that we do.
Sure.
That sort of lead us to this point in time. So it's it's all wild. I think you could probably drive yourself crazy though if you put too much thought into it of like what happened here, this step there, this step there.
For sure. But with that being said, my movie's been a pretty good one. Like all those moments have been a pretty interesting one leading up to this point. So I think it'd be dumb to ignore like the journey I've been on to get to kind of where I am right now and ready to try to win this tournament tomorrow. Yeah,
so as you guys know in the chat, I just had Jack Sinclair on earlier. So you guys know Jack. We said Jack. We're hoping Jack win. We're rooting for Jack, but Scott does have a pretty big fucking chip lead, man. So I don't know. I feel like in these spots, these final tables, do you think that having this amount of chip lead, especially when there's a bunch of short stacks too, is just a super favorable position to be in? And it seems like it would be. I don't have too much tournament experience, and I mainly play the great game pot in Omaha,
right?
Which is not necessarily tournaments. So, but how much of an advantage is it in this spot?
Well, first off, I mean, you mentioned Jack, and one thing I have to say is that what's going to make this experience cool is how great a group of guys that are at this final table with me. I mean, it's just awesome. Like, I mean, Ben Lamb is a great guy. How about John Hess? He's like
awesome,
having the time of his life.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I can't wait for tomorrow because I know he's going to be having fun, and I'm right next to him. So I think I'm going to, hopefully it'll rub off on me. I'll be able to just have a good time. And, Jack seems cool, and I played with Damian Salas. He's from Argentina. How often do you get to meet a guy from Argentina? And he's awesome. And just like everyone at the table seems like a great guy. Brian Piccoli has a great story.
Yeah, he does. His story's pretty sick. Yeah,
that's awesome. So it's a bunch of guys he's a root for now. With that being said, I do have a pretty big stack, so it's going to be exciting coming in and being able to use that to my advantage, and hopefully, you know, just keep getting more chips and keep accumulating and trying to get all of them at the end.
Yeah, I just feel like, you know, this kind of moment here with the prestige of winning the main event and the big pay jumps, when you start actually thinking about them, you know, it can kind of get in your head.
Yeah.
I can imagine that, you know, coming as a chip leader, it could be a spot where if you lose a pot or you lose some chips, it could really fuck with some people bad.
Yeah.
You know, then they're like, oh my God, like they start tightening up, and I feel like that they probably would stop playing their A game.
Well, I'm not going to give away too much about my preparation for this thing.
Please do not.
But,
please not say it. Please do not give away any preparation.
But I can say I did bring in the GOAT himself, Mr. Elliot Rowan, to get the mine right. Yeah,
I'm priming my mind right now. What happens when 9 men prime their mind?
Exactly,
I don't even know.
I don't even. They're like, "Who are you getting to coach me poker?" I was like, you know, I think I know a little bit about poker, but with the moment so big, just in case that happens, right? Like, just in case things go bad early on, like, who's better than him and PrimeMine to like kind of get my head right. So that's been amazing, and yeah, I mean that's why I'm like feeling pretty good about tomorrow, is just because I'm in a good mental state. So
what's kind of been like the reaction from your friends? I know you got a couple of friends here, friends, family back home. I mean, I feel like most people, they're probably, I can't imagine what they're kind of saying. The chip leader of the main event, first place, $8 million, 7,200 people started this damn thing.
Yeah, it's just crazy. It's just absolutely crazy. The support has been amazing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like my hometown, like the New Jersey seems to there's articles in every newspaper. I don't know. I just came out to play a poker tournament, and I was like hoping it would go well. I was hoping I'd maybe make a little money, you know, like play with some good players and have a good time out in Vegas. And for 7 days, everything just went my way. And you know, I can't thank everybody enough. It's been tough with the 2 days. You know, everyone else who final tables, they get 3 months to kind of like reach out to everyone, talk to who they need to talk to. I got 48 hours to turn this thing around, and it's like my phone's blowing up, and I feel bad not being able to personally respond to everybody. But I'm gonna probably be off the grid for the next couple of days. But when it's all over, go back and try to thank everybody and maybe catch up with a couple of people I haven't seen in a while. So yeah, it's been cool. I hope everyone's enjoying the ride, and I hope like my story is someone who was just a kid who plays poker and can get to this point. I hope you know, maybe inspire somebody. So
I mean, you know, the people out there have been saying not many Americans under 25 playing the main event this year. Numbers are down, which makes sense. And online poker is a little bit less accessible. For you, did you get a lot of your experience playing on those legal New Jersey sites?
Well, that's the key. Yeah, I think for me, being pretty young, actually, like 25, I consider myself young. A lot of my peers are older, like if not the same age. There's no one I know that's really younger. So Jersey certainly helped. Like when that came in 2011, you know, that was like pretty big because I never really played Pre-Back Friday online.
Exactly.
I remember a funny story back in college when I first started playing. I would like deposit $200, play 1-2. I would double or something.
We all did.
Yeah, of course. Everyone has these stories. But I would double. I would like try to withdraw the money and then like keep playing. Next thing I know, my mom's like, "Yeah, you have like $1,000 in overdraft in your bank account." I'm like, "Wait, you mean like when I do these, it doesn't just like add it up for me? Like I think I'm up 200, but I kept like withdrawing and thankfully the bank let me off. But I was like, oh shit, this is not how this works, you know? So
they let you off?
Oh yeah.
They did not let me off back in the day when I was a debatable fun player and put money on, never won money. Yeah, it's those full tilt deposits.
That's
they definitely
funny.
added up there.
No, they were understood. They understood that. I think they would like let me out. They let me out for a buyout or something, I think. But yeah, I mean, just that was when I started. I remember just watching poker, and then New Jersey Online came around, and that's when I started to really play.
Yeah, I do think it's actually a story that a lot of young kids can look to because, you know, I think that when you're thinking about getting into poker, a lot of people say, you know, it's very hard to win, and it definitely is very hard to win. It does take a lot of work, but at the same time, and some people might say, well, you know, one story out of 7,200 stories, like, you know, I never was going to be that lucky. But at the same time, I think it does go to show that, if you are putting in that work and putting in that effort, like you still need to do that to get to this point, even to get lucky and to get to any sort of deep run in a tournament like this. But it is possible to do that.
Yeah, and for me, it's important because it wasn't always, roses. It's not. The game is not always moments like this, and I feel very blessed to get to this point. And it's just one poker tournament, and like I got here, but there were some downtimes too, and I'm glad I persevered. And like, I don't want to be this poster child, like, oh, this kid did it, like you can do it. Like, no, you probably can't do it because it's hard, really hard, and like I got really lucky, and that's important to not lose sight of. But personally, I'm glad that if you're gonna put in the time and effort and go through these downsides, it's pretty cool that now I have this pretty big come up. So, life and poker are both pretty difficult and both pretty hard, and you just gotta kind of hope that something like this happens to you. And I feel fortunate enough that it did to me. So
we got my buddy Doug Polk in the chat. Shout out to Doug. He says you probably can't do it in quotation marks. So you probably can't do it. Doug, put that in an infographic. Put it on Instagram right now. Put a picture of Scott up there. You probably can't do it. Scott, I'm making the main event final table. Go ahead, take that. Make sure you got.
I mean, it's just a math game, right? Like it's just like you said. I mean, there's only one every year, and shout out to Doug. I definitely have been checking out Upswing a little bit, and obviously helps. And
so I see patches on you. I see 288 now. 88. I don't know how much you didn't. Made 88 didn't give me any money for this, so I see 288 patches.
Yeah.
What are we got a third patch? We got
Upswing. We got some things in the work.
What are we doing? I Doug, get in touch, Doug. What's happening, Doug?
I already saw on Instagram. He's already fraternizing.
You got a girl already. Yeah, looks like you got a girlfriend already at the final table. Yeah, man. What's up, Doug?
I understand.
What's up, Poppy? What's going on, man?
Maybe
you got too many chips. Maybe he wants to come from behind or something like that. I don't know.
It's okay. So, but the sponsorships or whatever, and I'm not really worried about that right now. 888 was the first company to approach me, and they seem like a great company to represent. So that was a no-brainer. It was only 2 days too. I felt like I was running out of time. I was like, oh shit, like I got to get something done, and they were just a perfect storm. So
PrimeMine, maybe PrimeMine needs some patches, man. I don't know. Do you use the app? Do you use PrimeMine for?
So honestly, I have not.
Don't lie. I can check the hours on your phone.
You can check. I know you're not. I told Elliot myself. I said I don't. I'm a big fan of yours, but I don't use your stuff. And like, for whatever reason, I just don't. Mainly because I guess just I was so like my mind was already. I felt like I was driven towards like trying to get to where I wanted to be in poker myself. I didn't really need the app, but I mean after these sessions, like I mean obviously I'm gonna start being a user.
Yeah.
But I haven't used it, but we're that would be cool to. Obviously, I'm a big Fedor fan too, and and a company that can like do some good in the world is something I would be interested in repping too. So
I feel like we could have got Fedor out here, especially Chip leader at the tournament. Fedor repping PrimeMine.
We
try to get Fedor out here.
I try, but he's a little busy. He's out in like Hong Kong or Bangladesh or whatever. Probably.
Hey, don't make the same. I said it was in Asia too on Instagram. People got pissed at me. It's in Europe. They yelled it. I said the same. See, it's not just me. All Americans, we don't know geography, guys. No. We don't know where Montenegro is. We think it's in Asia. Okay.
To be fair though, these Euros, when they ask me where I'm from, I go New Jersey. They're like, oh, where's that? I'm like,
oh, okay, exactly. Yeah, no one's getting on these Europeans about not knowing where New Jersey is. That's what I'm saying. They get so mad at me. I didn't know Montenegro was in Europe. That was in Asia. Montenegro. It sounds like an Asian place to me. So I don't know. Who do you got coming out here, man? Who do you have? You saw, or they said there's only like a limited seating, obviously for that first day. Of course, when people are eliminated, more seats will get opened up. But who do you have coming out here taking those yellow wristbands?
Yeah, so my parents are on their way out right now. My mom is pretty adamant against flying. She hadn't flown in probably like 20 years, I think, and she just hopped on a plane today. So crazy.
No questions asked, huh?
Nah, I guess,
that's awesome.
I guess,
that's so fucking cool.
Fear. So they'll be out here. I got bunch of poker buddies and a couple of high school guys coming out, and we're just gonna hope to have a good time. And it sucks that it's not in Penn and Teller this year. It's gonna be like really small.
I agree.
So I don't. Yeah. I mean, always, the 2 days in the Brasilia room are like a little iffy, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully nobody misses. How about this? You know, who I was talking to one of my idols last night on Twitter, which was like a crazy moment. Norm Macdonald, comedian.
Oh, really? What was he saying?
Yeah, so he's a big poker fan.
Yeah, he did the high stakes poker report.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, a buddy of mine told him I'm a fan, and then I came in, and he, told me he was rooting for me, and I said, if you want to come out, come on out, we're gonna have some fun. So we'll see what happens there. That'd be cool. I mean, he's really he's probably my favorite comedian ever. So
isn't it crazy how something like this, where you final table a poker tournament,
yeah,
you've been playing poker tournaments now, you probably played thousands of poker tournaments, but now because it happens to be this one now, it's like all of a sudden like people are reaching out on Twitter. You're on Barstool guys earlier today. Shout out to Nate and Smitty out there. It's like it's so crazy how this moment now gives you these other opportunities potentially. Take that moment and then do this other. Who knows what else could happen? Kind of people you meet and networking and just all that kind of stuff. It's crazy, right?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't I can't even put it into words, right? Because how do you plan for something like this?
Mm-hmm.
Like it just doesn't feel like it's real and doesn't feel like it's really happening. And I just hope that with whatever's coming with this, I just hope that my message gets across clear that I want to do some good in the world, and I'm big into like mental health and stuff, and I hope that like when Dan Coleman was going through that whole thing where he refused to do interviews,
right.
I actually don't think that's the right way to approach it. Like I don't mind doing things like this, but I'm going to say what I want to say, and I'm going to give the message I want to give, and that's kind of what's important to me. So I've been at the bottom and I've been at the top now, and if you're at the bottom, you can always be at the top. Like that's what I hope to be the poster of, like the proof that you can get there if you want to, and there's no reason to stay at the stay in neutral.
That mindset, right? Like I mean, obviously I know it's definitely hard. I've been in that points in time with poker where I felt like I want to drive off the fucking bridge.
Sure,
you go home from the casino. We've all been there where it's like, are we ever gonna win? We don't got we're trying to pay rent. It's just all this stuff goes through our mind. It's all relative to different people. Depending on you might have $100,000. Someone feels like they want. I might have 10,000 feel like that. Someone might have 1,000 feel like that. It's just all very relative, and that's sort of what poker and kind of
And I don't really let money drive me anyway, and that's kind of be my advice to everyone. Like, there's more to life than money, and there's more to life than poker. And if you like playing poker and you're able to make a living doing it, then you should. And if if you're not, then you should probably consider something else, because happiness is more important than any poker session. It's just that simple to me.
I think with being driven by money, I know for most of my first couple years in poker, I was driven by the idea of getting to the high stakes and making money from that.
Sure.
And that was my such a huge motivator for me at that time. But then sort of I got to that point, I realized, well, I guess that really wasn't the motivator. It was more of just the idea of mastery or achievement. But I think that some people can use, if they lack motivation, anything, if they can use money as that motivation, it might not even be the worst thing.
Sure.
So it's something I've been thinking a lot about too. Is just the idea of money being the main motivator for people.
Sure, and that's fine. And I do think that having money, money is like a product of freedom, and like freedom allows you to do what you want to do. And so like I'm not saying that the money isn't great and I don't want the money. I do, but I don't want all the money. I want like what I win, I think, is going to be enough, and then from that point forward, it's just about, the things I'm gonna do probably after this is over. People with way less money than me are gonna be able to do the same thing, right? Like, that's what I'm saying. I mean, if you really think about it, I'm just gonna probably gonna be the same person, and maybe just play a little bit bigger of a poker tournament every now and then. So like that's the goal, and I just think that some people would be happier outside of poker, right? Like,
how many people,
right? Like, how many people try to make it, and like, but even when I was struggling, I was still able to be happy because I knew I wanted to get to this point. So like, the happiness of getting here was what drove me. So, you know, unfortunately, I have to go. I have some other obligations to get to in a couple minutes. But
Sure.
when this is all over, you know, we can do a little bit of an extended one and
Definitely, man,
maybe
yeah.
break it down a little more.
I'm excited for it. I mean, this subject to me is something I thought about for kind of years now too.
Sure.
It's very, especially how it intersects with poker as well too. So, but I guess yeah, man, give the people something out there, kind of at least work that they can like a thing, a quote, or fucking I don't know, a poem. You have a poem? I don't know. You write poems?
No poems.
Jonah's been on poems lately. He loves poems, so I kind of like poems too.
Yeah, just, you know, if you're out there watching this, just keep in mind that anything is possible. I mean, it's cliche, but I'd never envisioned this happening to me. I just knew that if I kept making the right decisions leading up to this point, that maybe it would all fall into place. And I'm really happy with how I played 7 days of poker, and just really looking forward to tomorrow night.
I'm looking forward to it too, guys. The short one, it's a sweet one. Make sure you guys check out Scott on Twitter. I'll put the link in the description if it's not his actual name. What is it? S Blum. What is the number?
S Blum 2711.
S Blum 2711. And yeah, man, we'll be the final table starts tomorrow night on ESPN at
9 o'clock Eastern.
9 o'clock Eastern time, 9 p.m. Eastern time. They gave us some prime time scheduling on ESPN. Thank you, ESPN, for doing that for us on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You guys are awesome. But yeah, man, we'll be watching tomorrow. It's going to be exciting, and I can't wait to see what happens, man. Guys, we'll be back tomorrow, probably doing a little main event preview breakdown with Doug. That's it. Much love. Adios. Peace out.